Nah,
I can tell.
got it.
So okay, where did you move here from?
Michigan. Yeah.
What and how long has it been? You've been like a year?
A year in Chicago. Yeah, as of like a week ago.
What? Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man.
How's it feel? I should turn off this AC.
Feels good. Are we doing it now?
Yeah, it's happening. It's literally.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if Derek said anything about it, but it's very much. It just is.
Word is in it now. All right, cool.
What made you decide Chicago?
Yeah, so I moved to Los Angeles actually from Michigan. Well, it's a long story. Okay.
Perfect. That's why we did the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just gonna hold this. That feels weird just
No, you're good.
talking to this. So yeah, this feels more natural as a comment.
Everyone's got their own style.
Yeah. So yeah, I lived in Orlando. That's where I started doing comedy. Was in Orlando when I was in college, and then I moved to LA for music. I got an intern at a production company. I wanted to be a film composer.
Okay.
So I was doing comedy on the side, and then things kind of just came to a head. The more I got into the music world, I hated it. The more I got into the comedy, I loved it. So I kind of made that switch, and then the pandemic happened. Already things were starting to kind of get good, and so I moved back to Michigan for a couple years. Made things work with my girlfriend, and the compromise was I wanted to live in a big city, but she wanted to be close to home. So Chicago.
That's a nice little compromise you guys have made. It's very healthy, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of communication, a lot of negotiation that was involved.
So you started off to be a music production person?
Yeah, I was doing like music production. Like I wanted to be a film composer, like write music for film.
So you read music?
I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm like I can't sight read, but I can like write it.
So you play instruments and everything?
Yeah.
Why have we not played music together?
I don't know, man.
Right, well, that's got to happen.
Yeah, we gotta jam.
So you're from Michigan. You were like, let me make music as a career. Then you moved to Orlando?
Yeah.
And then you weren't enjoying it. What was going on?
The more I just got into the world, like I interned for a couple places and it was fine. It's just it really sucks getting exploited.
And you decided the comedy was less exploitive?
Nah, I just like it more.
That's fair. Yeah, I hear that when it comes to the entertainment industry. The music in particular feels, it's a different type of shady.
Yeah, the people around are it's very fake. It's just, everyone you're talking to, they're just like trying to figure out how you fit into their narrative of their own dreams and goals. There's just lots of times I had different like ideas stolen from me as an intern, and then they were presented as their own. There was times that I worked on projects with people and I was promised all this money and opportunity, and then nothing ever came from it.
That's actually why I moved. I'm from California.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Riverside. Yeah. And one of the reasons I picked Chicago was the authenticity of people. Yeah. It's hard to describe, but California there's this thing.
Everyone's just got like a little game they're playing, it feels like, yeah.
And it's completely different than the people at the Midwest I can't speak on the East Coast all that much, but
yeah, it's a Midwest vibe. Like that's why I like Chicago. I'm like it feels like home, but it's also a big city.
Yeah. And I guess when it comes to the industry stuff, comedians are, if I'm going to give some comedians some credit, they're a little more, they have more honor, if you will. Like if someone's stealing jokes, they call that out.
Yeah, we're not good with the bullshit. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was always my issue. I didn't know how to keep my mouth shut in those situations.
I get you. And that'll get you in trouble in music, man.
Yeah.
And so then when did you start doing stand-up?
So I did it for the first time when I was 15 in high school. I was doing theater and like they had like improv classes and stuff. And then I did it for the first time when I was 15, just one-off. Got on like a local showcase, but then they were like, you really can't do this until you're 18 because you can't be in bars.
Right.
And so when I was 18, I did it a couple times before moving to Florida, and then just started doing it in college. So I would do like maybe 5 mics a month, if that. And then did it more in LA just as my thing, and yeah.
And it just sort of became what it became.
Yeah, it became what it became.
What was high school like for you? You said you were a theater kid?
Yeah, I was a theater kid, in case you thought I was straight. No.
I was in theater too, and I know it gets our theater kids and our band kids were particularly
crazy.
Yeah, and band kids were more sexual.
Yeah.
Is that across the board?
I think that's across the board. Yeah.
What is that?
I don't really know, because it's a bunch of people that are, I think, just being like rejected by the rest of the school. So then you just put them all together and they're just all just horned up and ready to go. Yeah,
it's a move. What? And I never even understood why the rejection. Like, people want to be famous actors and stuff, but for some reason when it's in I guess because it's cringy.
Yeah, no one wants to fuck the oboe player. You know, that's you know, they want to fuck a guitar player like a rock star. You know?
Right, I feel you.
The kids in like an actual band, like a rock band, they always got laid.
I feel you. So, and so you're here with your girlfriend now.
Yeah.
How long you guys been together?
It's been it's been off and on since like junior year of high school.
And how old are you?
26. Yeah, so like 10 years we've known each other and kind of had this thing going, but we've been living together for 3 years now. Yeah.
Wow. So you guys are probably gonna, be together forever. Knock on wood.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the only issue we ever had is that I just kept moving across the country.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How do you go about keeping a relationship together? Because that's something that artists in general, but comedians specifically, just can't.
It's very hard, but like at first it was very hard. It's a lot of like setting expectations, having those like tough conversations of going like, this is what I'm willing to give and what I'm willing to do and this is who I am. Mm-hmm. And you either accept that or you don't, and we have done that with each other's issues and stuff. And, this is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. Having those clear boundaries and checking in constantly where those boundaries are. Have they moved,
You're a surprisingly reasonable human being.
I try to be.
I'm trying to dig in.
I wasn't for a long time. So.
What do you mean?
Well, like I had like this, I had it in my head like you had to be like the suffering artist, I got to lone wolf it. If you have a healthy relationship, it's just gonna get in the way and it's gonna stop you.
It's gonna stop you from your grind, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
When was that? When was that era of your life?
So that was up until the pandemic, really.
Oh,
yeah.
So you had this lone wolf mindset.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me piece together this.
Yeah.
So, Michigan.
Yeah.
Music. Not Anaheim. Orlando. LA. Music. Shady. Stand up.
Yeah.
Compromise with girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm summarizing your life.
It's okay.
Then Chicago. No, not Chicago.
Then Michigan.
Then back to Michigan.
So yeah, I was there for 2 years. Then Chicago.
Then Chicago, post-pandemic.
Yeah.
So what was going on? So you go back to Michigan and the rumblings of COVID. What was your experience? Because everyone's had a lot of.
It was wild, dude. So I was in LA. So this is what happened: is I had gotten some really good opportunities right before the pandemic, like. I don't know if you know the Comedy Union at all.
No.
They're where like a lot of the MTV kind of comics get booked out of and hang out.
Okay.
And I had gotten past there like 2 weeks before the pandemic happened.
Jesus.
And then I won this competition and I was going to, go on the road and open up at an improv. And I had all these things that were starting to happen comedy-wise and I was excited. And then 1 week it was all just gone. And then I was hearing like, it's going to be at least 2 years before you can even do comedy in LA. And so I just drank for like 3 months straight. Because I worked from home, so I just it was one of the tougher times. Mm-hmm. And during that time, I was kind of looking at the things that I gave up in order to be here in a room just drunk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think this is gonna work out if I keep doing it this way, And so it was a lot of just like weighing on what I wanted in this world and what I didn't want. I didn't like the thing with LA is like you play the gatekeeper game a lot. And so I realized that when you play that game, it can get taken away from you in a second. And that's what happened. And, so with comedy wise, it became clear the only way I'm going to like make it in this world is to build my own audience. And because those are the people that thrived is like, like Flagrant and like Andrew Schultz, those dudes, their Patreon shot up like tenfold when the pandemic hit because they had their audience built in and so many other examples. And so, I'm like, Chicago, the idea originally was always Chicago because in Chicago, you can do the city stuff, you can do the industry shit, but then you can drive anywhere in the Midwest within a day. You can fly anywhere within a couple hours. So you can do that. You can be the road guy. And you can deal with actual real people instead of the fake LA people.
Yeah.
So then I moved back to Michigan. And, the plan there was just for us to make sure that we worked together as a couple, just living together, but also just working on my material and doing the road as much as I could. And so, that's what I did. I just worked my ass off and built a bunch of material. And
I have the utmost respect for you and your mentality and all of this.
You've
always been meeting, the times we've just kind of stood outside of Shakers mostly. You've always just been chill. Have you always just been?
For the most part, yeah. I think I used to be more obnoxious, like in high school. Just like the unchecked ADHD and mommy issues. But
I get mommy issues.
There's a whole thing. That's a whole other episode.
I'm listening. If you want to, if you don't feel comfortable talking,
we can talk about whatever you want, man.
Okay, then I'm gonna write down mommy issues. No,
just general issues.
before we get to the mom stuff, because I'm sure that'll be fascinating. Chicago so far for you, man. So like, little bit about me. I moved here 2 years ago.
Okay.
So the pandemic hit, and before the pandemic, I had kind of built me and a friend built our own little comedy scene in Riverside.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yes and no.
Yeah. Do you know Ann?
Ann Flagg?
Yeah.
I know Ann Flagg.
I know her out there. Yeah.
She was the first person I ever booked.
Really?
Yeah,
she's hilarious.
Holy shit! I haven't thought about Ann in a minute.
What up, Ann? Yeah.
How well do you know Ann?
Not too well. We met at like a mic or something at one point, and then like literally right before the pandemic, we started just chatting, and she's like, "Yeah, we should work together on something or whatever."
And then
the pandemic happened, and we lost touch. Really, we see each other on Instagram and shit all the time.
Of course. Yeah. No, Ann. It's. I remember. Okay, so I was a pretty. Oh God, I haven't told this story ever. I don't think I was a pretty angry person.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I remember one time me and Ann drove to Flappers in
Burbank.
We drove to Flappers in Burbank, and I had crazy road rage, and I was just an anxious guy, and so inconvenient.
So fucking.
I was an anxious guy, and I can't remember what happened. Someone cut me off or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I was screaming. I was at the fucking.
Burbank will do that to you though. That's not on you. I feel like.
Yeah, and you know how like trying to park anywhere, it's fucking crazy. And I'm pretty sure I scared the shit out of her. Like I'm pretty sure she was like, "What? I'm trapped here in this car with this guy." Yeah. Wow. Goddamn. I haven't thought about that in a minute.
Hilarious.
But so we started the scene, and for a lot of reasons, I cocooned myself in my own scene, and I hit this like glass ceiling.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I was depressed. I was angry. Dude, I'm so glad you're meeting me now. I'm sure I don't come off as angry.
No. Not
okay.
At all.
Yeah.
Very chill.
Yeah. And I was angry, I was depressed, I was mad about fucking everything all the time. And then the pandemic hit, and for me, I was fucking terrified because I thought I was an extrovert, and I didn't realize I was actually an introvert.
Yeah, I think I had that same realization around then too.
When did it click to you that you were like, oh wait, fuck people?
Yeah.
How did that happen for you?
I think it just started to slowly like, oh wait, really don't like this. I'm way more comfortable being in a room by myself, like with my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like it can vary, you know, but like you know, I just don't like being touched in general. I feel like.
No, I get you. You. That's why I'm always disappearing.
Yeah, same.
But then, you know, I'm really summarizing it here, but I just realized I needed a big change, and the people in my life that I had a lot of respect for was George Frito and Will Henderson. I don't know if you met them out there,
I don't
but
think so. Yeah.
George was from Hawaii, and he moved to California pretty early, like young, early 20s, I think. And then Will, also early 20s, moved from Michigan to, he ended up in, I think, fucking Barstow or something like
Jesus.
that. He fucked up because he didn't visit before.
The wrong way, yeah.
Before you moved to California, did you understand how fucking big it was?
Yeah, I had a general idea. I never been there before.
Okay.
Like, I had
Yeah, he fucked up.
I have maps.
Well, I guess he thought like, well, yeah, it's California. Then you just drive to LA. And
it's fucking desert, dude.
So those guys, they would talk about back home and like the difference in weather and the culture, and I felt like a townie, like a guy who just never stepped outside the box. I was in college in San Diego, but that's not
that college,
you know. And so I was like, fuck this. And so packed up with my girlfriend at the time, a dog and a cat in a car, and moved to Chicago.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's always been my fear, is like becoming like the townie, the guy that never left.
Yeah. What is that? Why is it scary for you?
It's something I think just in comedians, but yeah, just growing up, I just saw so many people and like they just hated their day-to-day life. The thing in Michigan, for a lot of families, it's just either like you work in like the same family farm, or like you have like a store that you work at, or you graduate high school. If you go to CC, it's usually just that. But a lot of them just get jobs in factories because you have like the auto industry there, and so tool and die shops, auto factories, and then a lot of them just work that till they retire.
You were never satisfied with that?
No. I was always just like, nah, this isn't gonna be what I do. Like I'm not here to just fucking work some job I hate and spend most of my life doing that. Yeah.
It's okay. 26.
Yeah.
Okay. 32. It's really hard to describe to people who don't have that thing in their head.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's just content.
Yeah. NPCs. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that is a real, like,
yeah.
It's and trying to, there's a quote, and I don't know how to say it exactly, but it's essentially like, keep your plans to yourself.
Yeah.
I guess to Lil Wayne put it the best. Real G's move in silence.
Yeah.
And I don't do that.
It took me a lot to learn that. Yeah.
But it feels like the reason is because when you tell people your plans, the wrong people that are the good people will be like, okay, and leave you alone.
Yeah.
But the wrong people will latch on and try to be like, no, man, you got to stay here with us in the factory.
100%.
It's the whole thing. But
it's a small town thing too. It's like, you brag about your failures, but then if you have accomplishments, you're like ashamed of them.
Yeah, it's such a backwards way of thinking.
Yeah.
But so I moved here 2 years ago, and for me, it sounds like we both have started in a similar way, which was being antisocial.
Yeah, I tried. Like I just went out there and just did it, but like, I've gotten better at that over, like, I think in Michigan it changed me a lot when I was there for those 2 years. It got me better at just being around comics. Like I realized these are my people. These are who I'm, cool with. So I was a little bit better here, but yeah, it wasn't exactly like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, you don't give me that energy.
I kind of just my thing has always been like, just show up and just do your thing and let people approach you,
Yeah, that was my mentality too, but I think I came off, what's the, not aloof, but negative. I think
arrogant.
Yeah, maybe arrogant.
I've always worried about that about myself too, but I don't think it's actually true.
Yeah, it's probably just in my
I think
head.
all comics I think are like, should I approach them? Should I talk to them? They probably don't want to talk to me. They don't care. They probably think I'm an asshole. I'll just go over here.
Have you gone to the Laugh Factory Christmas party yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just got shit-faced and then just partied my way through it.
As it should be.
Yeah.
I remember the first one I went to, I was really high, and I went and I was like, why is it so uncomfortable here?
Yeah.
What am I doing? And then I realized then a year went by, then I went again, and I was like, oh, everyone's awkward.
Yeah.
These are all a bunch of comedians.
Yeah, they're all just weird people.
Right. And there's no audience. They're all fucking here with each other.
Like, do we just do bits to each other? What do we do?
I would love to see like a documentary of just a bunch of like not famous comics in a party or in like a real world house. It's a very strange
people
thing.
think comedians, it's going to be a wild party. It's like, nah, it's a lot of standing and just like,
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. Do you have goals? Do you have any concrete goals? Or you just kind of going?
This is the only thing I want to do, so however far that takes me, whether that's, I'd be content with just being on the road as much as I can and just making a living off of that, but, I'd love to have specials. I'd love to do theaters, all that stuff.
I'm going to rephrase.
Yeah.
In 5 years, let's say. How long you been doing comedy?
About 8 years now. Yeah.
8?
Yeah.
Okay. In 5, about the same.
Yeah.
About 5 years, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be?
So I'd like to be a headliner on the road constantly, like throughout the year. Yeah.
Okay. I desire this for myself as well. I will ride your coattails all the way to Alabama.
No, man. All the way to Alabama.
I've hit Indiana, Wisconsin, St. Louis.
Okay.
Where have you been so far?
Michigan, obviously, Ohio, Indiana, California.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota, nice.
Yeah, I did that one.
How was
recently.
Minnesota?
It was cool, actually. Yeah, there were some weirdos afterwards, but like the crowd was cool. It was a really cool brewery.
I think, breweries are, breweries. I think one of the other things I like about, we talked about this a little bit, but I like the Midwest audience because they really appreciate shows.
They really do. It's like when you go to like these smaller towns, like that's their thing for the night, like the weekend. Like it's either that or bowling. Like so they really appreciate it, and they appreciate the work you put into it.
Yeah.
You know, and they're actual like comedy fans and stuff.
Yeah, and it's almost, I don't know if you've ever experienced. Have you ever gotten this where you get off stage at like a very simple bar show, brewery show, maybe even like a comedy club, and some people treat you like you're a celebrity?
Yeah, it's weird.
How do you navigate that?
I'm not good at all at handling compliments in general.
Get rosy cheeked and
I'm just thanks. You seem nice too.
It's so weird how they like, because you're on stage with the mic, they think you're more important than you are.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like I'm just some asshole who convinced someone to let me talk for a little bit.
Ooh, good timing.
There we go.
I caught that one about 10 seconds before it was going to time out.
There we go.
I'm getting better. And then you talked about Flagrant, which I got to talk about.
Yeah.
You got your top 5, your Mount Rushmore is
for podcasts?
No. Ooh, yeah. Let's do podcasts and comics
okay.
Yeah, Mount Rushmore for comics, Mount Rushmore of podcasts.
Okay, well, comics, I mean, you've got Chappelle, you've got Burr, you've got Chris Rock. How many is Mount Rushmore? 5?
Oh shit!
Yeah, how many presidents are on there?
Hold on. It's Washington, Lincoln.
That's more than I knew.
Teddy?
I knew Teddy's on there. That's the only one I knew.
Washington, Lincoln, Teddy.
I feel like JFK should be on there, but he's not. It's just a rock, just with a super jagged rock. It's all fucked up.
I don't have a guy to Google shit for me in the corner, so let's do this real quick.
We need a Jamie.
I need a Jamie in my life.
Jamie.
Who is on Mount Rushmore? Okay, it's not gonna read it for me. It's Lincoln, Roosevelt, Washington, Jefferson. So it's 4.
Okay.
So your top 4 are Chappelle, Bill.
Yeah, Chris Rock, and I want to say Louis, but I feel like you can't say Louis anymore.
I mean, can you say Dave anymore? I
guess you can. Yeah, that's true.
I think you should pick whoever you feel comfortable. How do you feel? Like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how you're feeling about. Oh God, I don't want this. It's. You just slow down, Aaron.
Let's just
take
do
a
it,
breath, man.
Let's just do it, man.
I'm kind of frustrated that I can't enjoy anything anymore.
Yeah.
Because everyone's in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, were you a Rick and Morty fan?
Yeah. Fucking Justin Roiland, fucking piece of shit.
Get ready for my opinions. We'll see. I'm not on camera. I can cut myself up. Do you know what's going on with Jonathan Majors?
No.
Do you know who Jonathan Majors is?
No.
Do you give a fuck about the MCU?
A little bit, yeah.
Did you watch the Creed movies?
No. I watched the first one, I think.
This reference is not gonna matter anymore.
All right.
No, it's here. I'll show you a face or a picture of him. Jonathan Majors. So Jonathan Majors, this guy.
Okay, yeah.
So he got accused right after Ant-Man. He's Kang the Conqueror.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet. Yeah.
God damn, man. All right.
It comes out tomorrow on Disney Plus, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm waiting for it.
Ant-Man's.
That's how you know you're broke, is when you're. This movie came out 3 months ago, and I've just been counting down the days on Disney Plus.
Dude, Ant-Man doesn't matter. Fucking skip it.
No,
Guardians 3, though.
I saw that, yeah.
Oh,
that was
tears.
our anniversary date, yeah.
It's beautiful. Did you cry?
I
cry all the time.
I came a lot, but I didn't. When I see animals getting tortured, it's just...
When the face was coming off?
That's when I...
But spoilers.
Spoilers.
That was the most graphic MCU movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. That scene specifically was like, ugh.
They took it there. The first F-bomb as well.
That was good. That was a good one.
But so Jonathan Majors is in the MCU, and he's doing very well. Has been on the rise. And then accusations. Then I guess his white girlfriend at the time. I emphasize white.
White.
Yep. His girlfriend.
Yeah.
Accused, or something happened where the cops were called. He was arrested, and now his whole life is ruined.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, his career is ruined, essentially. Like they took him off all of his projects. Their MCU's been quiet.
Yeah.
And now they're waiting for the trial and all of that stuff. And I'm getting to a place where I'm like, you need to give me proof.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like, and this is outside of my very bias. Anytime I hear a black man and a white woman are together and a white woman says a black man did some shit, I'm biased. It is what it is. Like, I don't.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Not a great track history on the white women's part.
It's really bad. Yeah. Rest in piss, Caroline Bryant.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Oh God, but so then it feels like I can't enjoy. Like, okay, Dave Chappelle, he's also on my guys, and I'm like, fuck, I can't enjoy anything anymore.
Yeah, mainly just because of like the trans stuff.
Yeah. It's like I don't know if you know that I date trans women.
Say it again.
I date trans women.
Oh yeah, no.
So that's also complicated.
Yeah.
It's so like, I guess I kind of missed the time when we didn't know anything about celebrities.
Yeah. I was thinking about that the other day too. It's like we used to not know anything other than just they were in a movie, you know?
Yeah, Tom Cruise runs a lot of these movies.
Like now we know like what their houses look like. We know that their opinions on shit. It's like I shouldn't care at all what your opinions are because you're an idiot. You're an actor. Like, why would you know anything that's of value?
Yeah, man, I don't know. And you seem like a nice. I don't know. Do you have any? Never mind, actually.
No, what?
I was going to ask if you have any fucking dirt on you that's going to get you in trouble.
Dirt on me.
Yeah. No, but
good.
But you seem like a wholesome, reasonable guy. But it just feels like, I don't know, man. It just feels like there's too much finger pointing as of recent.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I feel like that's been like a conversation we've been having for like 10 years, though. It feels like it's always just like... Yeah, it's always just like someone's always in trouble. That's just kind of it. Back in the day, it was the Christian conservatives were the ones getting people in trouble. Oh no, we're off. There you go.
I'll fucking put the God. I haven't gotten through one of these episodes without having to edit in a picture of you being like, and then a caption that's like, all right, sorry, well. Fucking damn it! Sorry, go ahead. What were we saying?
It's okay. It gave me time to collect my thoughts.
Yeah,
it's good. No. There's always. I think it's been the last 20 years actually of culture has been a lot of finger pointing on both sides. Because when I was a kid, it was the Christian conservatives. They were the ones canceling everybody. Like I remember they tried to cancel Green Day because they had like a picture of two people making out on the front of their thing, and so they made it like they were boycotting Walmart because Walmart carried the CD. And that was the whole thing. And then I think it just flipped the other way. It's like whatever kind of social values are the big thing at the time.
Sure.
We're always trying to cancel some sort of art and culture.
Yeah, and it's I think it's especially weird because the internet, because anyone's got a phone. And I think I just continue to have mixed feelings on it because on one hand, it's good. We have proof of a lot of shit.
Yeah.
But also, I don't need to see everyone.
Yeah, I don't need to know what people in Arkansas are doing.
Yeah. But to get to comedy, so Andrew Schultz is one of you guys.
Yeah, I like him a lot, and not so much for his stand-up, just more for like his podcast and what he's done in that space and how he's lifted people up and stuff.
Is that career path something that you desire? Something kind of like that?
A little bit, yeah. More for the stand-up for me. I've thought about doing my own podcast and stuff. It just it's a lot of time and investment. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, and I put a pretty slapped together podcast, and this is one of the
best studios I've been in.
Do you? Okay, there was a for Jay. Do you know Jason Melton?
I think so.
Big guy, big old beard. I'll show you him later. Yeah, he had a whole.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah.
He had a big bag of potatoes behind him the whole episode. But
I didn't get any potatoes. It was in my rider.
I know, right? But so it sounds like you just want to. If I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like you want your independence.
You can put anything in my mouth you want.
Oh, thank you. No, it sounds like you just want independence, freedom to do what you want to do.
Yeah, that's exactly it, man.
It's such a simple, and it seems like we're on a similar wavelength of like it's not about fame.
Yeah.
Like obviously you need a level of fame to make this work, but it's like.
I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was always taught
That shouldn't be hard.
I was taught that that's selfish growing up. Dude, were you taught that?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
It's this like old like work culture that I think got passed down from the boomers after the war and stuff. They grew up in the Depression, so it's like you're supposed to take care of your family. You're supposed to just work until the day you die, and you know you need to. It doesn't matter. Just go out and work. Stop questioning. Just go out and work, and you know that gets passed on to you. So if you want to do anything but just work in a factory or whatever, climb that corporate ladder, anything that could be risky to your family, it's seen as selfish or. If you're not taking care of the family first or whatever, I guess. I don't know.
Which is crazy because you get one life. Like, I look back to the way when I did have that workhorse mentality, and I'm like, man, why I get one of these? Why do I?
Yeah, I never got it. Why people? Because like dealing with like depression and like suicidal stuff a lot. I think a big turning point for me was realizing like. I'm not going to get another life. Maybe I don't want to be here. So why would I spend the time here doing shit I hate, and so it was more just like, if I have to be here, I'm at least going to do shit I want to do because there's nothing else to do,
That's a very productive headspace for also being suicidal.
Yeah.
Did you ever, if you don't mind me asking, did you ever go for it? Did you ever try?
Yeah, I have a joke about it. Of course.
Of course. All right.
Yeah, it was like whenever people survive a suicide attempt, they always say, like, I thank God that he was looking out for me that day. I like to say I think the structural integrity of my bedroom ceiling fan wasn't built to withhold a 200-pound 8th grader.
That's brilliant. Okay. So I'm curious. So
it was more just like pills, actually, is what I
pills at the time. Okay. Yeah. And was it in 8th grade?
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
If so, I mean, I'm trying to think back to what I was going in 8th grade. I remember feeling more suicidal when I was about in junior year of high school. Yeah. For me, it was like if I don't go to college, if I don't get in, then my life is ruined and it's everything is terrible or whatever. And I remember the stress of that. For me, it was like the future is so big and terrifying and heavy that I can't hold it up.
Yeah.
And that's where my head was at. I was like, I can't do the future. But where were you at in 8th grade?
A lot going on. So, like, I guess getting into the mommy issues. Here we go.
That's a good transition. I'm a great interviewer.
It's not just mommy issues. It's daddy
What
issues.
the fuck? Sorry. I don't know what's happening.
I'm walking.
I don't know what's happening. Oh, okay. Good. It's just recorded. I'm sorry, man.
No,
a lot of this is going to be audio.
You're
Fuck
good.
me, dude. God damn it. I'm sorry.
I sound better than I look anyway. It's okay. I appreciate it.
That's... Fuck, dude. Okay.
It's all good. What were we doing? Oh, mommy issues and daddy issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... my parents were addicts growing up.
Both of them?
Yeah, so... My mom and my biological dad, they were just like hippies. They were just doing acid constantly. And then I was born. And then they got into like a pretty abusive, toxic relationship. I don't have much recollection of him before. I was like, I met him again when I was 14, but he was kind of gone out of the picture by the time I was 2. And then she met my dad, who's quotations around dad. Okay. For the listeners.
Step.
So he adopted me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they got married when I was 4. He adopted me legally. And, they started, he was rich at the time. So, like, it's this crazy story.
Please.
So, yeah, he had started this internet company called iServe. It's like an internet service provider. And it was kind of all over Michigan at the time. And then he sold it for a big chunk of money, we'll say. And then they were just partying all the time, just huge house parties. We would go down to the Virgin Islands. He had a house down there. I have like vague memories of happiness.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then basically he invested everything in internet companies. And then the .bomb happened. So people who don't know, like around like 9/11 that time, and like Y2K and all that stuff, the tech bubble burst. Like there was all these people were investing in internet companies, and then it all just kind of fell apart one day. And my dad lost pretty much all of his money. And then shortly after that, he also, because when he sold his company, he had retained a position there with a salary. He lost that. And this whole time they're both doing drugs.
So he wasn't, and I'm not a billionaire. So he's not putting any money away. It's like let it ride. It's like gambling almost.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. So all the money goes away. Then what happened?
Yeah, all the money was gone pretty quick, and then they got divorced when I was like 8, but we lived in Virginia for a little bit when I was like 6. My dad got a job there, and do you remember the DC Sniper?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was when I lived there. It was that summer.
That's cool. What was that like, man? Going around
it was insane, dude.
Couldn't go to gas stations?
You couldn't go to gas stations. There was like a week we couldn't go to school. They just made me sit in the apartment for the entire week.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad like got a map and like drew like circles. Like he had like the pins and shit. And it was all like a 5-mile radius around our apartment.
That's crazy.
It was wild, yeah, because I remember like just tarps over the gas stations and stuff because people were scared of getting shot. There was a kid in my class whose brother died.
He got shot by the DC Sniper?
Yeah. It was bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but so I have vague memories of that. I just remember being really scared at the time.
It sounds like a lot of your childhood memories are pretty. It's the way you're describing them. Is that a trauma thing?
Yeah, it's a trauma thing. It's,
okay.
Yeah, it's that, and yeah. But I've got like a decent, I think, long-term memory now. It's my short-term memory at the current point is fucked. But yeah, so like, I'm skipping over a lot too. But
so DC Sniper happens. They get a divorce, still doing drugs.
Yeah, so DC Sniper happens. We moved back to Michigan because my dad got fired from that job. Here's the thing: once you're like a CEO, it's really hard for you to work for any other company because basically that's his problem always is that he can't keep his mouth shut, in the meetings. So yeah, we moved back to Michigan. My dad said it's because my mom missed her boyfriend.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so we moved back, and then shortly after that is when they get divorced. There's a lot of cops involved at that point. We're getting like moved to different places. Like my parents would like just grab us and like leave us at a friend's house, and then somebody else would come take us. And
so you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah. So yeah, I've got at this time I had 2 sisters, Celeste and Cassie.
Are they?
They're my mom and dad's, my adopted dads.
Okay.
So I have my half sisters.
I'm keeping it together.
Yeah.
All right.
And so yeah, they're like really little at the time. My mom had been in jail at this point because she got a possession charge. So she was in jail, and she was in a halfway house for like 6 months around that time. And then
this was when you were in 8th grade?
This was all when I was 8, like 8 years old. Like
okay.
Yeah, 8 to 9 years old. And then so that's all happening while they're like in the middle of getting this nasty divorce. And then actually, no, I think that was all right before the divorce. Yeah, then the divorce was like I was 10, and that was when my grandma died too. Good couple of years there.
Yeah.
And so we moved to a different house, but still it was like a decent neighborhood. It's pretty much like the last money we had went into like that move, and then just kind of my mom just kind of dealt with the issues in her own way of just partying, and she would kind of just disappear for like a week or 2 at a time. My dad kind of just retreated into himself and just went into the work. He tried a couple businesses here and there, and now he does freelance work and stuff. My mom's she was in and out of jail a couple times, and like psychiatric places. She struggles really bad with bipolar too, and so it's been a lot of her figuring out her meds, and then trying to self-medicate with drugs and stuff like that. And I'm very proud of her now. She's in a good place now.
That's good.
Yeah, she's like going to school for psychiatry or psychology and stuff. And
she's gonna be a psychologist?
Yeah.
Irony.
Yeah, I know. That's how it always works.
Okay, yeah. So if I'm piecing this together, I'll put it in my own words.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of drug issues from the parents and instability financially after a lot of stability.
Yeah. And for me, I think it was like my sisters don't really have much memory of like when we had money.
We're good.
Yeah, but for me, I was like, I started off as a little kid with no money with my mom. It was just me and her, and then we had all of the money. Yeah, and then all of a sudden back down to no money, like borrowing from the piggy bank, type of thing. And then it was financial instability, no stability from the parents at all. And just general, I don't know, fucked up shit.
It sounds like general fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And then so then middle school comes around like 7th, 8th grade, and what was going on?
At that point my mom married my stepdad. whose name was also Jeff. Both of my adopted dad's name was Jeff, and my stepdad's name was Jeff.
Did he feel weird about that?
I'm sure he did.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and so they got married, and we moved in with them for a little bit because the way the custody courts work and stuff, they always try to favor the mom.
Sure.
And so and we had wanted to at that point too, but we moved in with them, and things were good for a little while. I felt like we actually had some structure. I was going to a different school, but had a fun group of friends. We would just beat the shit out of each other. It was good times.
Good times.
And then things. I've left this out. They met in AA, and so
okay.
Things kind of just took a turn as they do. I think addicts and alcoholics have this pattern where like they'll try to go too heavy to like into religion, and I think that's always a good kind of sign shit's about to get
worse.
Yeah, is when they start going really heavy and they're like really into like church and Bible study. And
why do you think they do that?
Because they're trying to either convince everybody else or convince themselves that they're okay, that they have control. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of the whole like give up and let God thing.
Right.
And so they're trying to just invest all their energy into that and not fall back into their ways. And then it kind of spikes up right before a big crash. And so that's kind of what happened is we were super into the church a ton. And then they were just getting these huge blowout fights constantly. And that was my mom and my dad too. It was just constant, just screaming matches. And then
were you also in church a lot? Like, did you enjoy it at the time?
Yeah, I'd go to youth group. So like, Wednesdays, I'd be there, play kickball and shit. But yeah. So that around that time, that was like 7th, 8th grade. That's when it was mostly just like a lot of just constant fighting, and there's a lot of physical fighting going on, and shit like that. It eventually ended when my mom had to go to the hospital and get 14 stitches in her head.
Okay.
Yeah, good times.
Okay. Yeah, I could see why you would not feel good at that time.
Yeah, that was around freshman year when that happened.
And how did you power through it? How did you get through it? Was it friends? Was it just
So around that time, we'd moved back in with my dad by freshman year. Mm-hmm. And so I was back in the kind of like my hometown, but I didn't really have much friends then. So like that was when I was like at my lowest. It was like 8th grade freshman year. That's when I went to a mental hospital for a little bit.
What was that like? So this is the most depressing podcast.
Yeah, I know.
This took
a weird turn.
This is very normal in my podcast. Yeah. So I know Derek talked about like it was fun, whatever.
Yeah.
That's because Derek's life isn't your life, right, and other people like a little bit about my podcast.
Yeah.
This is normal in my podcast.
Okay.
You are not doing anything abnormal.
Okay.
This is a place that happened. This is a place we go to a lot.
I'm cool with that. Yeah.
My thing with my podcast is like, there's plenty of comedy podcasts. We know that you're all hilarious.
Right. Yeah.
I'm curious about what made you.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
So. For some kind,
it's okay.
Because you started looking real like, oh, I'm ruining it.
No, it's okay. Okay. I'm just having flashbacks while I'm talking.
God
so it's
damn.
like,
okay.
My facial expressions, I'm sure, probably aren't the best.
Is your
I should say I've been to therapy. I'm all over this.
The camera's fucking not.
I'm still gonna stare at it like it's there.
Is your family gonna listen? Is your sister?
Probably not. I don't know. They try to keep up with that stuff, but yeah.
Your girlfriend? Would your girlfriend listen to this?
Probably not.
Cool. Okay, so mental hospital.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that like?
Yeah, so it wasn't inpatient. So it was essentially it was after I had attempted, and I had been found with cuts over my wrist and stuff. And so it was outpatient program. So essentially I just would go in every morning around 8 a.m. and I was there till 6 p.m. And it was just group therapy. So they had me in there with a group of other people, and some of them were inpatient, some of them were outpatient. We couldn't afford the inpatient. That was the issue.
Adults?
More people around my age. Yeah,
Okay. Wait, you couldn't afford inpatient?
Yeah, so I haven't had insurance most of my life. People talk about insurance like it's just like water, like it's just a regular thing. I'm like, you guys have had insurance? What's that like?
Yo, our healthcare system system's really fucked. The fact that the type of person that would need to be an inpatient person probably doesn't have.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's wild. And like there's always this weird thing where like if with the system, it's if you don't make enough to afford it, but you don't make too little to get the the assistants. I've always lived in that sweet spot.
You're being
of
waterboarded.
Yeah, it's
where you can breathe just enough to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's been my whole family's life and my life. Yeah.
And so you do all the group therapy, and did it work?
No, yeah, that's when they put me on like antidepressants and stuff like that. And Ritalin for the ADHD. Back in the Ritalin days, if anyone remembers those.
Yes.
So I was just walking around pissed off all the time because I was just like, it was Ritalin and antidepressants, and I stopped taking them pretty quickly. And then, I kind of just tried to self-cope. And then shortly after that, I started getting more friends, coming out of my shell a little bit. Theater helped, That's when I realized that I liked doing that, is when I liked making people laugh. And so...
Were you the funny guy?
Yeah, I didn't realize I was until a long time after. I think I started to realize, people when I hear people talk about me, they go, "Oh, Cam, he's funny." I was always just a smart ass, I think, but I was obsessed with comedy since I was a little kid. Like 8 years old, I was listening to like
the Comedy Central.
Comedy Central, but like they had this radio station in my hometown where they would play comedy just like they do on Pandora now, and so you could just turn it on and listen. And then I had Pandora radio, and I was just obsessed with comedy, and I think it just kind of that wired my brain. That's how I think and talk, is like in bits now. And it's obnoxious, but
I get you, man.
Yeah,
it sounds like you pushed through.
Yeah, to an extent.
I feel like you're regretting doing this.
I'm not regretting at all. I'm enjoying it. I just don't want to overshare, and that's not even overshare. I'm not scared about talking anything. I feel like people get bored after a while if they just hear someone talk about all their own
problems.
Deep shit. Yeah, I'm not good at.
I get you.
Yeah.
So that's why I always ask people before, is there anything you don't want me to?
I'm not. It's not like I'm uncomfortable speaking about anything. Yeah,
you're just worried for the listeners.
Yeah, I'm just more like, I'm sorry, guys.
If it makes you feel better, I don't generally have a lot.
We're just talking to the void right now.
Consistently there's about 50 to 80.
Okay, yeah.
And then the people that are the most, we'll say, what's the word? Controversial are the ones that Jason Melton. Again, you know who he is.
Yeah, he plays the bass.
He plays bass at Power Hour, and man, this man got on the podcast and just immediately started dropping names. And
Jesus.
So his episode has
all the beef.
Yeah. Oh yeah, his episode has like 200 now.
Nice.
So it's usually the people that are a little more aggressive about their opinions. That,
all right, well in that case, fuck all of you. Fuck Chicago comedy. Suck my dick. What I started this because I was lonely in Chicago. It was an excuse to get to know people, and I've gotten much better at it, but I don't do well in the whole big group of people thing. And so were you always the guy at parties who just kind of went off to like a patio and just like hung out with the smokers?
Ironically, no. So here, a little bit about me. So I thought I was an extrovert, and I was the guy who was loud and obnoxious and opinionated. And I'm still all of those things, but they're like dialed down a lot.
Yeah.
I have more control over it. And I just didn't know myself.
Right.
I get ready. Get ready, consistent listeners. Are we talking about race again?
What?
We're talking about race.
Let's talk about it.
God,
let's talk about race. Let's talk about
literally every episode. So I grew up around a lot of white people, and there was this thing. There's this thing that'll happen when you're like the only black kid in a very white space, where people will try to like mold you into the perfect Negro.
Yeah. And mascot you.
It's like, this is our black friend. Look at how unracist we are. And they want you to act a certain way and talk a certain way. And it's like they get into your head essentially. So all of the awful things that were happening to me were I was being gaslit and told that it's not happening.
Right. Yeah.
So I also went to church a lot growing up. I was very close with my youth group, all white, and all of most of their family members were like cops.
Of course.
Yeah. So I would come to church talking about racism and talking
Yeah,
about
Riverside cops too.
It's a different.
Yeah.
People don't know that Riverside is like a cop city.
Yeah.
There's like a fucking 25% of the people that work in Riverside are all cops. It's crazy. And so it was just a lot of fucking with my head and telling me shit wasn't real when it was.
Yeah.
My family was doing the same type of shit. And so I just didn't know who I was. And so I was also not present.
Like dissociative?
Yeah, I was completely disassociated.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you get.
You very much, yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to work on being more present in the moment. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even during, and I'm sure maybe it's probably happening to you too, even during this conversation, it's like no one can see my hand right now, but it's like it's a boomerang, and it's like I'm like, oh, I'm over here, come up, I'm back with you.
Yeah.
And so I just wasn't me. It was like I was trapped. Me, the person you're talking to now, was like trapped inside of a husk, just walking around doing whatever the body wanted to do, but not what I wanted to do.
Right. Okay.
And so I
some Get Out shit.
Yeah, it's that movie. God damn. But it was I just wasn't me. And and then that first year in Chicago, I thought like, okay, I escaped Riverside. I made it. I meditated through quarantine. I'm good now.
Meditated through quarantine.
Fuck. Oh my God, dude. For the first year, I just fucked up.
Yeah.
In so many ways. And I just did all of the same mistakes. But what was good about it was I had no one else to blame but myself now.
Right.
It was like, okay.
Common denominator type thing.
Yeah. It was like, what's happening now that has nothing to do with Riverside, nothing to do with my family, nothing to do with white people. That's just my fucking fault.
Yeah.
And so I've been working on those things. It's usually with women.
Yeah.
Like
indeed.
Yeah. And then on the stuff that, like, generally speaking, racial stuff, I've now learned, like, oh, that's not my fault. I'm minding my business.
Right, yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. Why did we even start what are we talking about?
I don't even remember, but I'm glad we went down the road.
Yeah, this is the podcast. So I think when you describe, I find all the stuff you're saying fascinating.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're seeing on my face or how I'm reacting, but I find it interesting and I relate to it because
it's been a wild life. It's been a crazy time.
And you know what's even weirder is, not weirder, but I still find interesting is all those people in my kill book.
Yeah.
They all have such unique stories.
Yeah.
Like
that's why I love comics.
Yeah. They're all interesting.
Yeah, everyone's got a weird, cool story that got them to where you are in that room together.
And, we were talking about townies and shit.
Yeah.
Most people are boring.
Yeah. They're so boring. That's really, I feel bad saying that, but, like, I feel it to my soul. Like, I really don't want to hang out with non-comics.
Yeah.
I rarely do. I rarely meet people that I actually enjoy hanging out with that aren't comics.
I got to be around artists.
Yeah, artists, creatives.
Yeah. It could be, there's something. What do you do for work?
I hate it.
Uh-oh.
No, it's call center bullshit. Like, I work from home for a gardening company.
Okay.
Yeah, I answer emails and talk to old people.
I'm
going to be laid off in 2 weeks on purpose so I can go on the road and do this big summer run of shows. I'm excited.
Congratulations for that. Well, that's nothing to do with us. That's my reminder to call my grandmother, which I will do after this. But that's congratulations.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do when it's over?
Well, so the company I work for, they do seasonal layoffs throughout the year.
Okay.
So they lay off in the summer, usually for 2 months, and then again in the winter because it's a gardening company and they sell plants, and so it's based off of planting times. Gotcha. So by the time I'm done, they'll be hiring people again.
So Boomerang's back.
Yep. So I'll have my job waiting for me in August, but I'm probably gonna find something else. We'll see.
Okay. Well, that's good. It sounds like you're just doing your comedy grind.
Yeah, trying to.
Yeah, I get that. I'm currently also trying to like not be angry and be like, okay, it's okay. You're not getting booked right now, man. It's
Yeah.
okay.
It ebbs and it flows.
It very much does. Okay. And what is your plan tonight? Where are you going?
I was gonna go to that one in Megan Loftus's new room, the Duck Duck Goose one.
Where's that?
It's literally it's not far from here. It's at Elston and Montrose.
What time is that?
8 o'clock. I want to say 8:30.
Shit, I was gonna go to Harrigan's, but I might.
Yeah, it's a lot closer. And like last time, there was like 6 comics because it's a new mic, and I did 15 minutes.
All right, I'm coming with you to Duck Duck Goose. Wait, okay,
yeah, sure.
okay.
I looked at her halfway. I was like, "How?" I did like it's supposed to be 6 minutes, and I was just like, "Hey, so how long am I doing? Like, where am I at?" She goes, "Do as long as you want." I'm like, "All right, bet."
I'm coming with you.
Yeah. So,
all right.
It was fun. And $2.50 PBRs.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm
selling this place to everybody. I'm like, go. It's a comics paradise.
I guess I'll see you tonight then. That sounds like fun. Okay. Well, this is the podcast.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, man, this was good. This was fun. Appreciate you.